All right, everyone, we are back for episode 14 of Stub Love Live. And I am proud to have a really amazing collector on. His name is Brandon Johnson, and Brandon is just a big ticket collector. He's a big memorabilia collector, and he's really kind of taken to tickets pretty significantly and pretty quickly. So I see Brandon has joined, but now I've got to see if we can get him into the live. Just give us a second. Here we go.
Hey, Howard.
All right. He's here. Brandon is in the house. What's going on, man? How are you?
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. So I appreciate you coming on Stub Love Live. I'm pretty excited to have you. It's funny. I kind of knew about you through your Instagram page, and then I guess we hooked up, had a couple of messages back and forth, and now we talk a little bit more regularly. I met you at the National, so I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it's an honor. First of all, thanks for doing this show, Howard. I mean, to be able to meet, people on your show, to just get a taste of the personalities and the tickets, it's building a community, even strengthening, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, so Brandon, I'm seeing people here. We've got Darren Ravel tuning in tonight. We've got a lot of big guys on tonight, so I'm excited that to have you. So let's jump right into it. So when did you start collecting tickets?
It really goes, I started, as a young kid, the typical, grew up in the 80s, early 90s. I worked in a card shop in middle school and high school, did shows on the weekends. I was kind of the entrepreneurial, setting up at shows on the weekends, working for a guy's card shop in my local town. Nothing like how card shops are today, right? Did that through high school, and then went off to college, did the whole career thing. Basically didn't do anything with cards or memorabilia for 20 plus years, which is kind of strange, right? It was probably 2017, 2018, started getting back into cards, and specifically vintage cards. I really like the history of sports and the nostalgia moments, growing up in the 80s. And then I went to a card show, probably 2019, and I saw two tickets from dealers. One was the Maris 61 home run, and the other one was the Willie Mays catch. And I was just hooked right away. I mean, I'd seen tickets before, Super Bowl tickets and that sort of thing, but never those types of historical moments. So it's probably 2018-ish, 2019, I started kind of getting into tickets.
So Brandon, I know I've seen it on your Instagram page. I don't know how many you brought with you today, but did you bring those Willie Mays catch tickets that you have, the collection of them, including the signed one and all that good stuff?
I have the signed one. This is one of my favorite ones. I'll hold it up. I'm not sure if you can see this.
Yeah, I can see it. It's great.
This was just, growing up, there's certain moments in history that are just legendary, like obviously the called shot, and we all grew up as kids playing wiffle ball, pointing the bat, and so those types of legendary moments, historic moments, and then the moments that I grew up watching sports in the 80s and 90s that were always on TV as the highlights are really what I collect. The Carlton Fisk waving the home run, the Montana to Clark, the Jordan free throw line Saturday night. Those are the kind of tickets that I really chase. I mean, the band is on the field. I mean, those are the ones that really excite me. So I like the historical moments as well as the ones that I kind of grew up, being in your childhood and remembering.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. And I got to tell you, Brandon, you're getting comments here from guys like Ravel and Tom Daly. When they're blown away by a ticket, that means it's something really special. So they were blown away by that Willie Mays.
Yeah, no.
So that's pretty cool. So other than, and I know you're going to show some tickets, you'll show them in a little bit, but other than like your big money tickets, do you have any tickets that aren't that valuable but that are particularly special to you?
Yeah, I have my first ticket. I live in central Minnesota, about an hour north of Minneapolis, St. Paul, and so we're not. Our claim to fame is the 87-91 Minnesota Twins, right? So I was a sophomore in high school, not a valuable ticket, but this, just thinking about it gives me chills. Kirby Puckett is everything to Minnesota, right? So the Game 6 walk-off home run, and Jack Buck says, and we'll see you tomorrow night. This is just a special ticket. Every boy growing up in Minnesota is a Kirby Puckett fan in the late 80s, early 90s. So this is a special one. Another one that, isn't too valuable. I gravitate, obviously, we talked towards Jackie Robinson. But this ticket to me, I think there's 35 to 40 in the pop report, but it just screams Americana baseball. The 1952 All-Star Game ticket. And I don't know if you can see
hold
that.
It up just a hair more. Yeah.
When you look at the people that were in this game, obviously Jackie Robinson hit a home run, but Roy Campanella, Stan Musial, it was Satchel Paige and Mickey Mantle's first All-Star game. Monty Irvin, I think it was Phil Rizzuto. I mean, the Hall of Famers list is probably a dozen deep, and just to think about the people on the field. So I just love this ticket. To me, this just says Americana baseball. It's a $400 or $500 ticket, but I just like it.
I have to tell you, I like it too. And now that you kind of call my attention to it, I agree. It does kind of scream 50s, United States of America, all very, peaceful and good and beautiful and pure. I used to collect cards, and I kind of say that about the 1956 Mickey Mantle card. I don't know if you know that card too.
At the fence?
Kind of screams Americana all day long.
Yep.
So what's the focus other than Grails? I mean, I know you do collect Grails. What's the focus of your ticket collecting, Brandon?
I really like the 1980s moments. The one I've been chasing, and I've talked with you that I haven't really pulled the trigger on. You said other than Grails, but the 1919 Game 1 World Series. I just have a list. I still need some basic ones that, to me, like the Leitner shot, the Bird Magic. I don't have those. Those are ones I'm kind of looking for. So those are the types of tickets other than, Grails. I started, going down the road of the early Jackie Robinsons, and then kind of became aware that, obviously Sean's, collected those and didn't want to. So I kind of backed off that, and there's tons of other early Jackie stuff that I go after. But I have a handful of 47 Jackies as well, too. I don't have it back yet. There's an auction where I got a full 1947 Ebbets Field, and there's only 2 of them in PSA, so I'm excited to get that as well, too, as a Robinson rookie ticket. So
talk to me. Show us a few of these Grail tickets. I know a few that you have. I'm not going to spoil it. I don't know what you brought tonight, but I know you got some real big boys, my friend.
I just love the artwork of, obviously, the called shot, the pink, the red. Just a beautiful ticket. I know there's 120 plus in the pop report, but to me, I mean, it's a beautiful ticket, and relative to cards, it's still not that popular. Relative to tickets, obviously, it's a huge pop report. One to me that I don't think gets enough love, and I can't believe, I could be wrong, but I don't think it was part of the top 100 tickets, but this goes back to the legends of, vintage baseball. The Curse of the Billy Goat, full ticket, 1945. I mean, to me, this is, the Bartman game wouldn't be the Bartman game without the Curse of the Cubs, right? And so this is just a very cool ticket.
You know, Brandon, before you show more, just show that one again. Just look at how pure and classic. I mean, it's just it's gorgeous. I mean, it's artwork. Tickets like that are amazing.
Yeah,
And tell a great story too.
yeah, it's a cool ticket. You don't see, I mean, you see the stub. I think, did you pick up a stub of that at the National last year?
I actually picked up a stub and I picked up a full because I like the ticket so much. Hey man, Justin, don't rag on my shirt, man. Man, come on, brother. We're just teasing. Go ahead, show us some more, Brandon. Show us some more.
Probably my one that I had on a list and had to sell some stuff to got it a little over a year ago. Just love the ticket is the Wilt 100.
You know, I love that ticket, Brandon, and I kind of think, and I think I told you this. I think I was the underbidder on that exact one, the one you bought, and you know, I kind of kicked myself a little bit here and there that I didn't go a little higher on that. But you know what? It's all good, and if someone like yourself is the one that wins it, that I'm pretty happy. So I'm glad you own that. That's a great ticket.
You want to know a funny story? I won't get into too much detail, but since you said, I messaged you a couple months about a reference for a guy, and I'm buying a ticket off him from Boogers. He's not a tickets guy. He was telling me about how he discovered this Wilt 100 ticket, and he sent me a picture of it afterwards, and it was this exact ticket. So I met him out of Pennsylvania. And he's the one that discovered this ticket a couple of days. It was a lady at estate sale, big full box of tickets. Kind of a crazy story.
He probably paid $10 for it. Wow.
In a program. He found it in a program.
Wow. That's crazy. It's a great copy. I like the yellow. It stands out. That was just a pretty cool one. Before you show us some more, and I know you got more, you actually have a little insight into the 1980s USA hockey, I'm sorry, the actual game against Russia. And I guess it's funny, you know, the game took place in Lake Placid, New York, but because you're in Minnesota, you actually have seen a lot of these tickets. I guess Minnesota's just Hockey USA and probably Olympic Hockey USA. So tell everyone about kind of what you know.
Yes. So St. Cloud is the city that I live just outside of. So St. Cloud State University, it's got a Division I men's hockey program if you don't follow hockey. But Herb Brooks actually coached after he coached in the University of Minnesota prior to the Olympics. And then after, I want to say it was mid-80s, 1984, 85, 86, he coached at St. Cloud State University. So the hockey arena here in town, it's a big statue of Herb Brooks. It's named the Herb Brooks National Hockey Center. But they would do in the 90s and the 80s, when he would do signings, you could buy photos of him, pennants, and actual tickets to have him autograph. And in the Hockey Hall of Fame in Evelyn, northern Minnesota, in the late 80s, I've been told you could buy those fulls out of that gift shop at the Hockey Hall of Fame. So my day job is I'm in the real estate industry. So I've been in people's houses in their man caves that are not ticket collectors and seen full tickets. And so that's kind of there because the game wasn't sold out, right, in the arena. So I don't know how they got distributed, but a lot of them did end up in the Minnesota area. And if you look at the pop report, and I haven't checked lately, but the full pop was, 125, 130, and the stubs was like 25 or 30.
Yeah.
So when I got two, I actually bought three from one guy. And what's I like about these is on the back, and I'll try and show it. It was part of a charter tour to the game. So not a big markings or stamp, and these didn't come back markings at all. But if you look, there's a stamp on it from the charter company at the bottom.
See it. Yeah.
This is one of those that to be in the arena, when Al Michaels is saying, "Do you believe in miracles?" is pretty cool. But this is one of the top moments in all American sports, top 10 for me, for the Miracle on Ice.
Yeah.
So
for me too. And those stubs are very cool. I have a full, and I've always, you know, I've prized it. I mean, it's one of my prized tickets, but you know, I don't think there's ever been a time where I had a full and I was like, hey, you know, I think I'd rather chase the stub, and especially kind of the one that you have with the stamp. You know, I think that even authenticates it further that that was in the building. Yeah, I mean, even Justin's reaching out. You know, I prefer a stub for that game. Yeah, I think most people do, just because of the fact that it wasn't a sellout. It wasn't all that well attended, that game, and getting a ticket to that moment, I think, is so important. So yeah, I think it's one of those tickets where a stub is better than a full.
Yeah.
So what's on Brandon Johnson's wish list for the future? What am I going to be competing against Brandon Johnson for? What are you shooting for at the National in Cleveland this July?
You know, I mentioned the 1919. I really chase vintage, older Jackie Robinson stuff, autographs, you know, tickets as well. But I like the timestamp, and not to get off tangent, I know this about tickets, but you mentioned before, like dated checks and government postcards of the playing days era. So I just brought two things here where this is a 1948 check signed by Jackie Robinson. I don't know if you can see that.
Yeah.
Wow. And what's about this is, if you look, it's made out to a Ray Isom. And Ray, that was his brother-in-law, Rachel's brother. And doing some due diligence on him, he was one of the first. He was a police officer in Southern California, and he was one of the first black law enforcement officers in LA, and he was the first black policeman in his precinct in Southern California. So it's just cool, you know, to think of this whole family and that. So I just thought this was really cool. And then probably the closest I'll ever come to a Jackie debut is this government postcard signed by him. And what I love about this is, I just got this last fall, is if you look at the date, it's, I don't know if you can see that.
1947?
April 29th, 1947. So he signed within 2 weeks of the debut. So this is the kind of stuff, obviously in tickets as well too, but vintage stuff, timestamps. I mean, anything signed by Jackie or Hall of Famers is great too, but the provenance of the playing days is really
so let's talk about that as it relates to tickets. You and I talked yesterday a little bit, or over the weekend. So I think you believe, and we're not giving investment advice, because I don't even know that, you know, memorabilia collecting is really investments. I mean, I've heard Patrick Ryan and other people say they're stores of value, and I kind of believe in that. I think there's arbitrage opportunity in tickets, but I don't necessarily know that they're investments. But one of the things that both you and I agree on, I think, is that older tickets, vintage tickets that are signed by Hall of Famers have a tremendous opportunity to explode. And then even more focused in that niche is playing days autographs on those same kind of tickets.
Absolutely. I mean, and I bid on this since one of those, I think you brought it up. I saw Darren brought it up. That Lombardi Ice Bowl ticket was a steal. And it's different, right? They're ballpoint pen autographs. They're not the nice, perfect Sharpies where they're getting laid out with Post-its and perfect. So they may not be as aesthetically pleasing, but I really saw the white space, or the arbitrage in the last 18 months on vintage cards, autographed cards. I mean, they've exploded. And I think that's starting to happen in tickets too. You know, a Hank Aaron breaks Babe Ruth ticket, which just was on Heritage, and I'm like, I'll go, you know, it's about $3,000, $3,500. I'm like, I'll go up to $4,000, and it sells for, I think, $8,000. You know, and really seeing these, I think, and you're going to continue. And again, you're right, not investment advice, but the autographs, the vintage tickets that are signed by people that are no longer signing, whether they're deceased or just not signing. I think that's what I'm drawn to too, and I think there's a lot of opportunity in that.
I agree with you, Brandon, and I have one of those 715s signed by Hank Aaron. I've said it, on the show. Mike Violi was commenting, how he was going to buy one. And I was like, first of all, Mike makes really smart decisions when it comes to tickets most of the time. He's pretty darn smart on it. I'm like, I really wanted one of those tickets. And I had a bunch of them that weren't signed. And I saw a lot coming out. And I'm like, I need to differentiate a little bit. And I was able to pick one up in that range you were talking. I was pretty happy. I got it from a guy who had it on eBay, and then I was able to do a deal with him off eBay. But I also have one that's in ballpoint pen that was signed by Aaron, during the 70s.
I love that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. I actually had two of them. I got rid of one as part of a deal, but I kept the nicer of the two. And I think you're right, Brennan. I mean, I think if you can find signed tickets that have Playing Days autographs of, Mantle, Mays, DiMaggio, whoever, even just deceased Hall of Famers, I think there's tremendous opportunity there. So we're giving away some tips here. We'll probably be kicking ourselves for saying it, but I think it's true. Anything else you have to show us before we jump into the golf?
Yeah, I hadn't really bought much of any tickets all fall or winter in the last month, 45 days. I picked up a few things that I'd kind of show. One, this is probably the newest ticket you'll ever see me have. I just kind of stumbled upon it. Just the Brady Tuck game. Thought that was just kind of cool.
Sure.
Moment, but just an awesome. It's Brady, so it's cool. This one I've been chasing forever, and I'm very excited to get this one. The Clemente 3000.
Awesome. And you know what, Brandon? I saw that there's one right now, I think, on Leland's, and it's at a pretty big number already. And I think there's still like a week to go in that auction. So you're seeing a jump in that. And I also saw today something about there being a documentary, like a film that's coming out in March, produced by LeBron James, and getting some pretty significant, publicity about it. So who knows? I mean, Clemente, everyone loves Clemente, and that 3,000 hit ticket, I mean, it's as good as they make them.
And as much as it's hard to say Clemente flies under the radar because as big as he is, but I still think I think he does a little bit compared to some of the other names. So that'll be cool. If there's a documentary. That'd be cool to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've got some great stuff, Brandon. I know it's funny. We talked so much about you being a Jackie Robinson collector. You didn't show any real Jackie Robinson tickets, but some pretty amazing items. Do you have one? You have one Jackie ticket there that kind of stands out?
One that's not an expense. I just put together the 47 World Series set. And one that I really like that, again, because of the provenance, it's been there in the stadiums and you don't see a lot of them. Not overly valuable, but it's a 1947 Ebbets Field World Series pass, and it's punched.
Wow, really cool.
So it's a messenger. I think it's, what does it say? The New York Evening Sun Times. And there's a New York Yankees version pass of this similar shape and stuff. So that's something I'd like to find or pick up as well too.
That's really cool. All right, well, you ready to run the gauntlet, Mr. Johnson? All right, let's do it. Let's run the gauntlet. Stub or full?
I like the stub overall.
Yeah.
At the moment, I mean, there's circumstances where the full's more artwork, but overall the stub being there in the arena.
PSA, Beckett, or no slab at all?
PSA.
Yeah, I think most people would agree. PSA slabs are the best.
Rant the other day on the talking tickets was epic, I gotta say.
Well, I'm trying to turn it into a positive. Let's just try to keep it positive. They're good guys, and we'll keep working to make it better for all of us. Debuts or moments?
Moments.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Signed tickets or unsigned tickets?
Again, I prefer most unsigned, but the vintage, the older, we talked about that. Some signed, but for the most part, unsigned.
Yeah. PSA 10 ticket or a PSA Pop 1 ticket?
Pop 1, it's the rarity.
Yeah, I think think when it comes to ticket collecting, if you can have something that's a pop 1, pop 2, pop 5, you got something special. And I know all the guys that are, kind of watching here tonight, they'll all be jealous of someone who's got one of those. Here's a question I haven't asked before in the gauntlet, but give me your Mount Rushmore of tickets. So your top 4 on the Mount Rushmore, not that you necessarily own, but on the Mount Rushmore in your mind.
That's a great question. It's got to be Jackie debut 1, and then I would say, then for me it's the called shot. Wilt 100 would be 3. What am I missing?
Gehrig's speech.
I gotta say something a little different. The Jordan Red debut. I'm not a debut guy, but that ticket to me, the Jordan Red debut, it's Jordan. I gotta put that in the top 4.
Yeah.
It just.
I hate Michael Jordan, but at the same time, I don't think that's a bad call at all. A Jackie Robinson. Now I know you're a card guy too, so and an autograph guy. So would you rather have a Jackie Robinson debut ticket or a 1947 Leaf signed Jackie Robinson card, which is his rookie?
That's a good. They're both epic. I don't even know how many signed Leaf there are. There's got to be less than 10. I don't know.
Remember, Brandon, you're on a ticket show, so the answer is pretty easy.
Yeah, they're both epic, but I would take the ticket. But what a choice, right?
Yeah, pretty crazy. As a Minnesotan, Kirby Puckett debut or a 1991 World Series Game 6 walk-off ticket signed by Kirby?
Again, that's a tough one. I would almost rather the debut is rare too, right? I don't know if there's any signed, but I would almost take the signed Game 6.
Yeah.
Just because the moment of to me that's the epic Kirby Puckett moment. But they're both awesome.
Yeah. Better Minnesotan, Prince or Bob Dylan?
Prince.
Is there any better nickname in sports history than the Purple People Eaters?
There isn't. There isn't. And you have that Jim Marshall ticket, and I didn't even know that people even know about that moment. That's kind of a local. All you see growing up is him running the wrong way, and I kind of kept my eyes open, and then I see you had that. So that's a great. I don't know if that's a nationally known kind of sports moment, but yeah, the running the wrong way for the touchdowns is kind of epic.
Yeah. Yeah, I think most people know Jim Marshall, but certainly in Minnesota they know it better. I kind of was thinking if there was anything that was close to the Purple People Eaters, I think Dallas had the Doomsday Defense and Seattle had like the Legion of Boom, but they're not really close. Kind of you beat me to it, but biggest, or I should say bigger Minnesota sports heartbreak, the Jim Marshall wrong way run, or the Twins trading David Ortiz to the Red Sox?
You said Minnesota sports?
Yeah.
Heartbreak? It's not even close. Not even close. It's 1998. Gary Anderson misses the field goal against the Atlanta Falcons to go to the Super Bowl. It's not even close, Howard. That's the most heartbreaking sports moment by far.
Spoken like a true Minnesotan. So, I really appreciate you coming on, Brandon, and thank you for running the gauntlet with me. Episode 14, you gave us some great information. I look forward to seeing you out in Cleveland.
Absolutely.
Hope we can talk and kind of hang out. Hopefully you'll get to come to some of the events. And I'm looking forward to it. We're almost there. We're only a few months away.
Yep. It's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me, Howard.
All right. Be well. Have a good night. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.